And it was a
The
great
pie bit didn't really land, huh?
I don't
I,
think
but
so. But I like
I
the
think
kicking of it and all that.
the way the scene was lit, you couldn't really see, but I smeared jelly all over the side of my face, and I had the pie when I was passed out on me, and they kind of just cut around that. I guess it didn't really land.
Now, episode 6, episode 5 ends with Maddie getting kidnapped. 6 reveals that, oh, it was you guys. And we see a little bit of this at the beginning of the episode, but just how did that conversation go down in the car when you were like, well, let's kidnap her? Because it must have happened really fast. You didn't have much time. So what
We
happened
just
there?
we discussed this. I remember whose
Yeah.
idea it would have been,
Yeah.
and I think we landed on it being Simon and Xavier
Yeah.
being like,
Yeah.
all right, kidnap, like
Yeah.
nuclear option, let's go.
Yeah. I don't
And
think Claire and I were about it.
No,
and I'm
not at all.
actually the one that did that. I wore a hood and I snuck up and I put that hood over both Jess and Peyton's head.
Wow.
I remember that night. So that was actually me doing that.
That's
Nice.
fun.
For some reason, I had just had a flash of this one scene in season 1 where Claire was given information. Next time we see her, she has a baseball bat and smashes a car window in the parking lot. That's an impulsive, dangerous girl. That's the kind of girl that's like, okay, let's just rob the bank. And we're like, wait, what? Like, what? So she kind of will take it kind of far. I can imagine.
Definitely been involved in that, but I think Claire would have made us like go back to the school, not cabin. I think the cabin was definitely Simon's idea.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's a good question. Why didn't we bring her to the school?
I think we did we not? And then Simon's like, wait, she was like screaming in front of the.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, I think there was a brief. You do end up, you're in the cabin or whatnot, but
Yeah.
yeah. Now, the episode features kind of two unexpected pairings, with Simon and Claire and Xavier and Nicole. What was it like to get to explore those dynamics in such an intimate way that you don't really get to do very often?
Kristian's the best scene partner to do. I had to do an emotional scene with him in episode 4, and he definitely was the most safe person to do that with. And like Kristian, you always jump into scenes head first, and you always encourage us to like take risks and actually like be in the moment and whatever we need to do to be in that moment. And you made it a really safe place for me. So yeah.
And sorry, Rainbow, if I'm like damaging your reputation by saying this, but you are one of like the most, you freak out the most about your big scenes more than anyone. You're like, Kristian, I can't do this. And I'm like, come on, how have you prepped? She goes, this is my homework. And she shows all the work she's done for her character, writing all these subtexts and backstories for each line and each one of my lines. And she prepares so much. But yeah, she's always the one that panics the most. But I think, it's better to have someone on set who cares that much to fail than just what scenes are we doing today? So I admire how emotionally fretful she gets. Very good.
For me and Xavier, Nicole and Xavier, I really like that this season, because in season 1 we had a few scenes together, and it was kind of like the beginning of, I guess you could say, our pairing or friendship. But this season we got to play a lot, like humorous wise, like we had a lot of comedic moments, and we didn't really have that in season 1, and so I enjoyed that a lot, a lot. Like it was so fun, especially our bit with Diego, and just like the little bits in the cabin, like when we're complaining, oh, why are you untired? Wait, your brother's here, like all that stuff, the pie, you falling asleep. It was really fun this time around. And
the pie bit didn't really land, huh?
I don't
I,
think
but,
so. But I like
I
the
think
kicking of it and all that.
the way the scene was lit, you couldn't really see, but I smeared jelly all over the side of my face, and I had the pie when I was passed out on me, and they kind of just cut around that. I guess it didn't really land. But it's interesting watching these things. There's so many moments that we like to try and put in, and some of it makes it in, some of it doesn't. That's just the nature of filming these things. But I think that a lot of what Xavier and Nicole did at the cabin was just a really cool evolution of both of their characters, and added there's a real camaraderie between them and understanding. They understand each other on a deeper level, I guess, because of this online pen pal situation that's been going on. And I think it just really opens up a whole other layer, dirty dancing included and all that.
Yeah,
I ship.
it's been declared. It's been declared. Rainbow thinks you two are together now. So
No pun intended.
Dude,
yeah.
I just think I think it's crazy that when Nicole started playing a song and is like, "Do you recognize this music?" You full on said no, you don't. I would imagine in real life a guy
I
might
shared things I was gonna take to the grave
have.
on that chat forum. So there was no getting it out of him until he was called red-handed out.
Nicole and Xavier figure out who each other are, on the forums and whatnot, and there's a lot of contention. But towards the end, you guys seem to kind of get a good little like closure moment, and you seem okay. Would you say that that kind of conflict is now kind of resolved in a sense, and you guys are, a little past that, or is it still going to maybe kind of rear its head every now and then?
Well, there's a few more episodes, right?
There
Right.
are, there
But
are.
Personally, I feel in that moment they have an understanding of one another. And
yeah,
I think that a big thing with Xavier is like at the beginning of the series, he is thought of as a murderer, as a psychopathic murderer by everyone in the town. And everyone, the audience included, has to have this journey of understanding that he's not that. And, I think in that moment, Nicole really sees him and sees that he's been cast in this light almost by everyone his entire life, and there's a depth there that, and there's someone that cares, and he sees her for everything she is, and they have that really beautiful connected moment.
Kristian, you have another attempt at your one-on-one monologue in episode 6 at the end on the dock that actually worked, or seems to mostly work. Can you talk about filming that scene and how it came out?
The last, I was angry because it was the last shot of the day. Had about six minutes to do it, but no, okay. Honestly, one of the most underrated tragedies of the show is it's at the forefront of the second season. But Janet is a girl who died in a fire and lost her whole life. So when she says this line to Simon of, um, I wanted to go to college. I had an entire future that I never got to live because of this incident, and now I get to do that. And you want to take it away from me. Why? Because you're her friend? And it got me thinking lately, just like if we were for some reason Janet Hamilton's friends, we would try to help her get her life back in some way. But now that we're Maddie's friends, we want Maddie to get her body back. So is this one of those situations where it's like, depends on who your friends are or if you got any? Like, we don't like you, Janet, because you're not in Maddie Nears. But it's just like, it feels like an underrated tragedy because this is a girl who lost um, her entire life. And I do feel for her. And it just kind of sucks that she has to say, if she wants to side with us, she has to say, okay, I lost my life and I'll lose it again. That is so hard. And I don't think there are many people on the show, Simon included, with the character to give it up again because we all want a second chance. So I don't know. Janet is like a hero in my eyes. And I find it unfortunate that or I just find it interesting that we kind of help Maddie because we're loyal to her, but what is the right thing to do? Simon says, he says, you'll never be happy because you left an innocent person's spirit trapped in that school. So it is ultimately morally wrong. But her life was taken innocently too. So yeah, I have no idea. Actually, can I open that up to the board, guys? Like, it might not be as black and white as who's right and wrong, but I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, they're both people who lost everything innocently, so we have to pick who deserves, you know?
wait, no, Maddie didn't die though.
Well, I
Janet
know.
died. Maddie got a ghost thrown into her body. She didn't die.